I've been staring at my pistol for the past 2 days now. I haven't picked it up yet. I keep on thinking that this time will be the time when I'll lift it, put it in between my teeth and pull the trigger. But every time I get ready to pick the pistol up, every time I get ready to wrap my fingers around the pistol grip, that cold, steely thing, something in the back of my head tells me that it's not time yet. I'm a cop. At least I was a cop. I'm sure there's no police station anymore, not after what I saw. Not after what I heard outside the door of my 10th story apartment. Mr. and Mrs. Pritchard, Rosie Dawson, good old Emmanuel, Genevieve and her 8-year-old son. I'm almost positive that I listened to them all die 3 days ago. Why no one busted through my door and came into my apartment, I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. Maybe it's because I wasn't making any noise. Maybe it's because I was quick to turn the volume down on my TV as I finished watching another episode of Friends. I fucking hate that show. But it reminds me of my ex-girlfriend, so I found myself watching it every now and then. More like found myself watching. I don't think I'll ever have another binge marathon of Friends ever again in my life. Seeing as how it's gonna end pretty soon. I wonder if I'll be going to hell after it's done. After I've blasted my brains through the back of my skull and decorated my favorite wall with all the confusion that's making up most of my brain right now. Maybe it's not confusion, that's not the right word. I understand exactly what's going on. Fuck that. I didn't practically listen to anybody die 3 days ago. I wasn't pretty sure that I heard Mr. and Mrs. Pritchard get beat to death. That I didn't hear somebody get thrown out of the window at the end of the hall. That I didn't hear somebody's dog get silenced with something heavy and sharp. That I didn't hear somebody's son crying uncontrollably before he was silenced by someone's heavy hand, or worse, someone's unapologetic foot. There was a lot of giggling and laughing and profanity while it all went on outside of my door. Crazy to think that carnage that I listened to happened just a few feet away from me. I'm a cop. Did I tell you that? Not that it matters. Not worth dog shit anymore. Shouldn't even call myself a cop. Not once did I think about opening my door and helping anybody out in the hall. I decided it was best for me to save my own life than protect the lives of any citizens. Kind of funny because that's what I swore to do, isn't it? I'm a fucking cop. I was supposed to be the first one out of my apartment door. The first one to stop anybody getting killed outside in that hall. The first one to respond to any madness outside of my door. The first one to try and save any lives that I could. Something in the back of my head's telling me that it doesn't matter, that I would have died just like them. That it would have been stupid for me to open my door. Pretty sure it's right. Pretty sure that something in the back of my head is right. I said that I saw something, and I did. Not outside of my apartment door, obviously, but through my living room window. I closed the curtains after I saw it. Haven't opened them since. Like I said before, I've just relegated myself to staring at my pistol, watching the numbers on the digital clock on my kitchen counter cycle, and cycle. 0 to 12 and then back again. They're red numbers. I always wondered why most digital clocks had red numbers. It's like they knew that when shit hit the fan and you started seeing blood pool into your apartment from underneath your front door. I'm thinking irrelevant thoughts now. More and more as I get closer to ending my life. My pathetic fucking cop life. Anyway, what I saw outside of the curtain of my living room window, that helped to convince me to stay in my apartment. My apartment overlooks one of the freeway bridges that leads into town. I don't know what I expected as I looked out my window and continued to listen to the mayhem outside of my door. I guess I kind of expected normality to flow through the rest of the world. Maybe I was hoping that I'd be dreaming. That everything would be peachy keen in the world proper. That the freeway would be flowing as usual. Men and women driving aimlessly to their destinations to just waste the day away before they had to go back home the same way. I'd hear the familiar honks of 10-year-old cars, maybe the agitated swearing of someone who got cut off in one of the far right lanes. Hell, maybe even a crash or two. I don't know. I was expecting anything than what I got. After I peeled open the thin, army green curtain and focused my eyes down onto the bridge, that was it. The best magic trick that anybody could have performed on me. Distorting that ordinary bridge to turn it into a field of slaughter. Depending on what you've seen, I don't know if you'd even believe me. People leaping out of their windows to drag other people out onto the bridge. Some slamming strangers' heads with their car doors, and others straight up running over people. Someone even had enough room to perform a murderous donut, slamming into panicked citizens who didn't have a clue what to do, just ran around with their heads cut off, pleading to people, asking for help, shouting for help, yelling for help, expecting someone to save them, hoping that someone would save them from the people that were trying to kill them, from the growing numbers of laughing, maniacal people that were suddenly abandoning their old lives and devoting everything they had to becoming the best serial killer they could be. The ones who were doing the killing, they looked obviously different from the others. Sometimes I had to focus, because the common denominator was a patch of, well, it looked like they were infected with something. Like the worst herpes flare-up you'd ever see in your life, or as if they were all allergic to poison ivy and decided to collectively jump into a truck bed full of it. Scabs, rashes, bleeding, excessive bleeding, veiny limbs, pus-filled dots. I couldn't really make out what it was as I stood in front of my window and looked down in disbelief onto the bridge. Like I said, I relegated myself to staring at my pistol. I shut the curtain slowly and trudged my way back to my favorite chair. I didn't cry as I listened to everyone die out in the hall. Didn't do anything, really. Just stared at my front door, and maybe I'd taken the pistol and laid it in front of me because I was waiting for someone to bust through. Maybe I was waiting to empty every round into whatever was causing all the destruction out there. Not that it matters, the what-ifs, the I should'ves, the I could'ves. I already decided, days ago. I'm a cop. I was a cop. I guess I resigned after I made the decision to let all those people die outside. I guess it was a declaration of my resignation when I did jack shit and let all those people die right outside my door. Talking about all this kind of feels good, kind of therapeutic. Makes me think that it's getting closer to the time of sticking that pistol to my temple and making all of this a distant memory. I don't want to live with this shit in my head. I don't want to live with the knowledge of my cowardice. More than anything, though, I don't ever want to confront what I saw through my window, what I heard through my door. I don't want to risk losing my own life. What was it that writer said once? I just want to go off into that good night. Man, my pistol feels good. I always felt like more of a man when I held it. Never forget the first time I picked it up in the academy. It quickly became my best friend, and even named it Deckard. I named my pistol Deckard. Well, Deckard, I guess it's just you and me now. We're left to it. So I guess let's just get this done. I'm sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Pritchard. I'm sorry, everyone else. I wish that I was brave enough to try to save you. Goodbye.